You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. Today's show is about overeating for the holidays. I've never done that. We know there are many, many articles and videos about what to do during the holidays to keep you from overeating. But most of those ideas are programming techniques. Yeah, okay. Programming requires self-control and self-discipline, which is, guess what? The first to go when the holiday emotions and overwhelm present itself. We have a way that you've never heard before to help you with food cravings and your relationship or relationships with food in general. Don't miss this. Stay tuned. We are married intuitives with over 20 years experience who created the Ecosystem Approach for you. This is much different because we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be restored instead of programmed. We show you how to take an energy approach for internal discovery that is rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Jason, first let's talk about all the programming techniques that are out there, and then explain again why they are not the best.
We talk about this all the time. That's programming, but we don't really spend enough time talking about, well, what is programming and how is that different from what we do?
Okay.
And so here's the thing. Programming is a way of giving yourself a formula.
Yeah.
Think this way, do this.
Don't think that way.
Don't think that way, or just take these actions.
Correct.
And we know that that's not how people work.
Yeah.
And it's, this is not, for us, it's not rocket science. This idea of knowing how people work is internal to all of us. It's not just for us.
It's true.
But because we're all programmed, it took us a while to say, okay, we cleared away the negative energy, and all this stuff was very obvious to us.
Yes.
Once we did that, because it's all internal, it's all there, it's all written, it's not literally written down, but it's available to us instinctively.
Yes.
And but the problem with programming, is that it only works temporarily.
Correct.
So if you tell yourself, I'm only going to eat these specific foods, or I'm not going to eat any more peanut butter cookies.
You couldn't be referring to me.
Or chocolate chip peanut butter cookies, or I'm not going to have that chocolate anymore, or the Oreos.
Yeah. I haven't done that one for a while.
Oh,
yes.
we've
yes. But anyway, let's move on, Jason.
But programming only works temporarily, and you only have so much ability to program yourself. Now, we exalt people who are able to program themselves really well. In other words, we put them on a pedestal.
Sure.
But the truth is, it's not natural.
Well,
and if you can't program yourself, that doesn't mean you're bad. I'm the first one to tell you that if you can't program yourself, if you can't just follow the recipe, you're listening to the beat of something that's probably more unique to you,
internal to you. Yes.
That is more natural and more authentic.
Well, and you know what? I've been around a lot of quote exercise. Let's see, gurus and
that's where programming is.
It's gurus and
it's the standard.
Those are this is the standard, and you're not supposed to eat this, and you're not supposed to do that. And I can tell you, because I've always been able to see, but honestly didn't know until I started using the ecosystem approach, what I was seeing in many ways. But I guarantee you, all of those that look perfect or act perfect. I guarantee you, behind closed doors, they're not. I don't know, I might be dating myself big time, but Yul Gibbons, the guy from, he was the natural guy. He was one of the very first to actually put it out there about the importance of being natural. Yul Gibbons had a cigarette habit, big time cigarette habit. And nobody knew it until he dropped out of a heart attack.
Well, so in other words, programming can make you be very superficial and phony.
Thank you.
That's what you're trying
That's
to say.
exactly right.
And because you force yourself in this area, but over here in this area,
Right.
there's all this stuff, other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And typically people who focus only on their weight can maintain it. But then their relationships, they're dealing with money,
Right. All of it.
all these other things in their life just kind of
well, they're all affected by the negative energy that you're not dealing with in your entire life.
Most of us, and this is the whole point of the show today, is that we eat our negative energy.
Yes, we do.
If we have anger, if we go to that party and that one person who always says, "I'm better than you," that shame,
yes,
we eat it. That when you go to your parents' house and your mother gives you that look, and you all know what it is, and there might be multiple ones.
Correct.
But then what do? You go right for the M&M's dish right there, or
one of my favorites, everyone. And I really have to say, you don't need that right now. I really do.
So here's the thing. This is what we know.
Okay.
Highly programmed people, just because we're talking about programming, lack creativity, seem phony and uninteresting.
Well, and I want to add, and superficial.
Yes. They're not the most evolved among us, although we've exalted them and we put them on a pedestal forever.
Programming says that's what we're supposed to do.
Exactly.
And it doesn't work.
This movie, we saw it once. It was not one of our favorites, The Last Samurai.
Yes.
And it was all about, and this is very Asian, but, having self-discipline and self-control.
Right.
Right. But what a dull life, and the Last Samurai and the people that were trained to be soldiers like this. And I was in the army, I'm a soldier. I understand what this is all about, but this idea of being like a well-oiled machine and using self-discipline, self-control to be a soldier to kill other people sounds really good in the movie. It looked really good.
Because you knew what they were fighting for.
These were the best of the best.
Yes.
But I know I was at Fort Bragg and we were right next door. I was in the 82nd Airborne, but next door to us was the Green Berets. Down the street was Delta Force.
Okay.
We interacted with the Rangers all the time. They were in a different base, but oh my gosh, these guys who had well-oiled machines. First of all, they didn't have very good marriages, first of all.
I'm sure they didn't.
And one of the things I noticed,
Yes.
And often they cheated on their wife and their wife hated them anyways, so it was kind of, but
that made for perfection.
But programming doesn't make you human.
No.
And this humanity, so when you take away the programming, and this is the thing that we always forget to say too.
Okay.
When you take away the programming and you work from your essence, you're more creative. You can be good in all these different areas as opposed to just focusing on your physical body.
Correct.
And you can be happy. And the issues, the body likes to express its issues, or the negative energy in our essence likes to express itself through our physical body.
Correct.
So often that's where the cravings come from.
Mm-hmm.
When your mother is giving you that look,
Right.
and you're just going, oh my gosh, that appetite, those cravings, that junk food. We know that the food companies know that sugar and refined carbs,
salt and oil,
salt and fat,
and fat, exactly,
make you fat. And are very addictive.
Well, I wouldn't say they make you fat. It's the emotions that make you fat.
Yes. But what you gravitate toward is those things, so you can do that.
Yes, you do.
So the opposite of programming, self-control, compulsiveness.
Okay.
Sometimes when you become programmed, you become compulsive. So you stop thinking about what you're doing and you just do it. And people say, well, why not? What's wrong with that? Well, when you're compulsive, you lose the ability to choose. You lose your free will. But here's the opposite of that: is sustainability, authenticity, and true happiness.
Okay.
So it's a big deal.
Yes, it is. And let's be a little clearer. When you start doing things compulsively, you're doing them not out of your own personal need. You're doing
Choice.
it. That's your choice. You're doing it because somebody else said you had to.
Exactly.
And
It's
that
like
is not free will.
compulsion is like an addiction, you
Yes.
know, and if you do it, if it seems like it's a positive one, you say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, it's not necessarily a positive one.
Correct.
Because the situation doesn't always call for that.
Right.
There's one last point.
Okay.
Losing weight does not help your self-esteem over a long period.
But programming says it does.
Exactly. Now you might temporarily feel good if you lose a lot of weight. The problem is that there was negative energy stored in that weight. So as you lose it, where does it go? Well,
I have an answer. Where that negative energy goes is to someplace else in your body, and it can be very, very, very toxic.
Or it's released and that person becomes angry
and
bitter, hard to deal with,
yes,
unhappy.
Yes.
And all of a sudden they become so unhappy, they say, okay, well, how am I going to deal with that? Well, what do? They eat.
That's exactly right. So, Jason, key points of this segment.
Okay, programming is not natural or organic to the way humans are designed. They're not sustainable.
Okay.
Highly programmed people lack creativity and seem phony and uninteresting. They're not the most evolved among us. And the opposite of programming, self-control and compulsiveness, the opposite of programming, which is sustainability and authenticity and true happiness.
Okay.
So, and the ecosystem approach teaches you to operate from essence and be happy with yourself to naturally have good weight.
There you go.
Your body wants to be healthy. You know, if you take away the negative energy, naturally your body is going to help you be healthy.
Correct.
It's that simple.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about your relationship to food. What purpose does food provide for you? Okay, that's a good one. When you're at a holiday gathering or having dinner, what do you think food can do to make you feel better? This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about your relationship with food. What purpose does food provide for you? Okay, when you're at a holiday gathering or just having dinner, what do you think food can do for you to make you feel better? We are married intuitives with over 20 years experience who created the Ecosystem Approach for you. This is much different because we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be restored instead of programmed. We show you how to take an energy approach for internal discovery that is rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. All right, Jason, what do you mean by your relationship with food? And I'm not talking about your personal relationship. I'm talking about for the audience. What do you mean by that?
Well, modern food has been formulated to be addictive and to stimulate you and to affect you emotionally.
Yes. And
it really works from a marketing standpoint.
Yes, it does.
You can only eat just one,
right.
And it's true. And it's not a coincidence that you can only just eat just one.
You can't only eat just one is the real expression there. So let's talk about sugar and carbs and that sort of thing.
We know that they're addictive. We've known this for a long time.
Yes.
And frankly, we've struggled with it. We've gone back and forth because life is stressful.
Yeah,
there's a lot of anxiety. We deal with a lot of anxiety. We probably have the most stressful situation because we're caregiving with my mom who's 92. It's been really stressful.
Yeah.
And we, every once in a while I'll find Patricia in the closet with M&Ms, and that's her go-to.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was your go-to. Now it's peanut butter cookies.
That's right. Peanut butter cookies.
But you know, if you look at our cart when we go through the grocery line, we
Oh,
have protein meats and we
yes.
have lots of vegetables, almost no
Processed food.
processed food.
Right.
And
Wait, I have just a little story. The other day we were somewhere. I don't remember exactly where it was. Oh, we went out with my family and somebody ordered a huge tray of tater tots. Well, I hadn't seen a tater tot in years, and I couldn't resist. I said, "Can I have?" And I have to tell you, they were wonderful. But the next day, boy, I could really feel it.
we don't have stuff like that.
No, we don't.
And we're not hysterical foodies.
Nope.
I'm lucky because she knows how to cook and she does a really good job. And
Thank you.
and most of our meals are cooked,
Yes.
cooked at home there. And lots of fruits and vegetables, but we still struggle. There's still that stuff every once in a
Well,
while.
and because here's one of the things, our cells remember. Believe it or not, each individual cell remembers, and the thing that our cells remember the most is sugar and water, and those two things, our cells, they remember. So when you put a piece of sugar in your mouth, all the cells in your body go, "Oh my gosh, I love that." And when you don't have enough water, our body goes, "Oh."
There's a couple things that I've noticed. One
Okay.
is that, first of all, this has taken years, but we actually have very little sugar in the house.
That's true.
And um, one of your sisters comes over a lot of times, and she looks for the sugar, because she has that addiction, and she can't find junk food in our house.
Right.
There's not a lot of junk food, and that's happened over a long period of time.
Mhm.
It's not because we're really righteous about it. It's just
No.
that we try and avoid it, and when it's there, it sits there for a long time
True.
because we don't eat it. A lot of your relatives will come over and eat it.
Oh yeah. Oh,
You
of
know,
course. Of course.
So, but the truth is that it's taken us a while, because what's happened is that we've done it naturally and organically. We've eaten that stuff. We felt the bad feeling afterwards,
Mhm.
and then remembered, oh my gosh, when we eat
Yes.
that, it doesn't feel good.
Right.
When I eat that, it doesn't feel good.
Well, and so I'm going to ask the question, what does this have to do with overeating at the holidays?
So people use food to numb out, to
Mhm.
be a stimulant, or to elevate your mood.
Correct.
And
By the way, I've done them all, hands down.
I remember I was in the Army, and my wife had just died,
Mhm.
and I was all of a
And
sudden,
by the way, that wasn't me.
yeah, I was a single parent. My daughter was 7, and I remember this. I had this very dysfunctional relationship with Little Debbie cream
Oh
oatmeal,
yes, 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 yes.
or
Yeah,
and I would buy a
the
whole box. I would buy a
cupcakes
whole
and like the
box. Yeah,
Twinkie things, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And it didn't feel good afterwards, but it sure felt I needed it. I was just I don't drink, I'm
Nope.
not a drinker, so I don't smoke, I don't do any of that. So this was my way, and I used it to numb out.
I was just going to say, and you used it to numb out. And I remember when we first met, there was still some of that going on. And we, after I had gained weight after I met you, one of the things that I said to him, I said, you know what, we can, really slow down on the food / sugar carb thing. But one of the first things I know that we need is we need to get out there and start moving our bodies. And the combination of pushing down or letting go of massive carbs and sugar, and then exercising on a regular basis, what a difference it made.
Well, I just saw on the television there's a new French fry out,
Oh.
and we don't eat fast food typically, and but here's the point that we're trying to make.
Okay.
The reason is that instead of going to the food, we clear first.
That's right.
And over a long period of time, it's been 22 years, a little over 22 years we've been together, and it's our go-to first is, if there's anxiety, if there's stress, we clear that first.
That's right. And then if we still choose to have some sort of something that isn't suggested to eat, at least we don't eat the whole box
Right.
or whatever.
We have
however it
healthy
goes.
little snacks that aren't as bad,
That's true.
they're not good, but they're not as bad.
But the bottom line is, and here's something it's not in what we've written for the show today. Each one of us needs to find our own way to realize I'm eating this because I'm numbing out. I'm eating this because
Yes.
this food is addictive. I'm eating this because I'm angry. And the last thing I want to do is spend the entire day with let's see, my family, that kind of thing.
And I don't think I've ever told this to you, but
Okay.
when we used to host your family a lot, she has a big family.
Yes, I do.
And my family's out in the other room, so
Yeah.
it's not a big family. But
Yeah.
so I would eat more sugar because it was stressful for me. It felt phony. All the conversations were superficial. Everybody was talking, no one was listening.
Right.
And it was normal for you, but it was stressful for me. And so I did that. If you understand the relationship that you have with food now, a lot of people are unconscious. Is it your best friend?
Yeah.
Is that Jerry Garcia pint of ice cream?
Correct.
Is that who you go to when you have a struggle?
Cherry Garcia, not Jerry Garcia.
I thought it was Jerry Garcia. Yeah. Anyways, it's frozen yogurt. Yes. So, is it your buddy to drown your sorrows? Is your go-to when you're angry?
Well, and here's something else. Is it your best friend that is going to turn on you, and so that gives you an excuse to be angry?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at what is your relationship with this type of food or that type of food or that kind of thing, what is it? And when you start to see what that is, well, you're going to hear us say it. You can use the ecosystem approach to remove that negative energy and then see what happens the next time either you're in that situation or that type of food comes across the table. We'll put it that way, and when you start clearing those things, if you have the expectation, that's the end all, I'll never do that again, you're kidding yourself, because we're all human and we all are affected by negative energy every day.
So when we have an addiction, this is how we typically treat an addiction.
Okay.
Is we clear first and then see how we feel.
Exactly.
And if we still need that thing that we're addicted to.
Yeah, that Jerry Garcia.
Yeah, Jerry Garcia or the M&Ms or the other things, we say, go ahead.
Yeah.
But keep clearing. So once you identify what you're doing, the whole point of this show today is not to be unconscious when you're putting that stuff in your mouth.
Right. Right.
And so let's just go to the key points and we'll go to the next one.
Okay, so Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Sugar and processed carbs are addictive. It is natural to use them like a drug. Most people use food to numb out, to be a stimulant, or to elevate mood.
Correct.
Many people use food as their best friend, a buddy, to drown sorrows, or their go-to to be angry.
Correct.
Figure out what your relationship is, and it may be different every single time.
Sure, could be.
And the ecosystem approach is designed to help you have a relationship with your essence, which is your ultimate self-control. It's not really self-control. It says, oh, this is good for you, or oh, this isn't good for you, that sort of thing.
Correct.
Because we get that. I know after we've been doing this for so long, when we reach for that stuff that we know is not good, we get that little hit.
Yeah, we do.
That says, oh, that's no.
Yeah. So in the next segment, we're going to talk about what to do with your relationship with food when you're triggered during the holidays at a family gathering or, other holiday functions. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about what to do with your relationship with food when you're triggered during the holidays at family gatherings or other holiday functions. I have something I want to ask you about, Mr. Rohn. We're married intuitives with over 20 years experience who created the ecosystem approach for you. This is much different because we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be restored instead of programmed. We show you how to take an energy approach for internal discovery that is rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. So I'm going to ask you a question. Am I correct, Jason? I want to make sure I put this out there. Am I correct that we're not just talking about food here, we're also talking about alcohol and drugs, so to speak, regarding being triggered, the use of those things being triggered during the holidays?
Exactly.
Okay, I really wanted to ask that question.
So here's the big picture.
Okay.
Instead of eating those feelings, drinking those feelings, taking drugs,
Okay.
smoking,
Okay. Yeah.
whether it's tobacco or
Pot or
marijuana,
what,
yes. Instead of dealing with your feelings that way, they're energies.
Yeah.
So what we do and what we've been doing for all this time is that we clear it first.
Yeah.
And we're not really harsh or righteous about, oh, you can't have that. In fact, I just remember that we had a nutritionist who
yeah.
could have she it looked like she went to the Hitler school of nutrition, because if you ate something that wasn't good, she would go ballistic,
It's
and
true. She did.
we stopped using her just for that reason, because it wasn't, that's not,
Well,
that's
first
a
off,
lot of
it
negative
wasn't,
energy in itself.
and it wasn't normal, and it wasn't even natural, because what it would do, it would create anxiety in me. I'll say it that way. It would create that anxiety. And then what would I do? I would hide what I was eating.
So the essence of the ecosystem approach
There
is
you go.
this, okay?
Okay.
When you have feelings, instead of trying to program yourself out of them, do this, think this way, that sort of
Correct.
thing.
Correct.
And you can't really tell yourself how to feel or to think. We do that all the time. If the most boring people in the world are people that have to that have to figure things out in their mind
Yes.
about how they feel.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And
First
they
thing I clear for them is numbness, but go ahead.
and when that comes out, it's really not accurate. But if it comes out as how I should feel, as opposed to how I do feel.
Yes.
And which I've got some stories about that too, but not today. But the essence of the ecosystem approach is, when you have feelings, clear them first.
Yes.
Don't program yourself. Don't force yourself to do something this way, or to make yourself do something that way. Just clear those emotions first.
Well, and the other thing is that some of the first emotions that I would clear for myself, and I've been doing this a long time, is the guilt and shame regarding the need for sugar, carbs, and processed foods.
Well, and so let's have some examples, okay?
Okay.
Let's say you're going to your husband's boss's Christmas party, and it's
correct.
It's not really a Christmas party. It's a political event.
Correct.
And so you're stressful and you're anxious. Clear that first.
Yeah.
For both of you. If you're going to a family function, who those people in your family who trigger you.
Yes, you do.
You already know that. So clear the feelings that you have about it. Don't clear the person. What you do is you clear the anger that you have toward them, the resentment, maybe feeling guilty and shameful because whenever you're around them, you feel lesser than.
Yes.
Whatever it is, maybe you get angry. Maybe it's all of those things. Clear that stuff.
Wait a minute. For me, it is. It's all of those things and more.
So,
yes, definitely.
The most important thing is to understand that your emotions that come from your emotional story.
Right.
And this is where people, we say, well, how do you feel? And so many people have told, when we start working on them, especially in the beginning, I don't know how I feel.
Right. In fact, I would say that is one of the most common things that people say. And,
because
they
programming gives you an orientation to say, okay, what is my objective?
Right.
It doesn't say, how do you feel about that objective? It says, what is my objective?
Right.
So your feelings become irrelevant, and you're not very good at knowing
and that
how you feel.
In itself is programming.
So when you want to start to understand how you feel, so you can remove those negative feelings, that comes from your emotional story. And your emotional story is not what happened to you as a child, what happened to you in your life. It's about how you feel about what happened to you.
Exactly.
One of the biggest things for us is sexual abuse. Or some type of abuse. There's so much of that around. It's not about what happened not about the nitty gritty of the specifics.
You're talking about, I was going to say the details, but yes.
What,
It's about the abuse, the energy of abuse that is imposed on somebody else.
and how you feel about that.
Yes.
Do you feel like a victim? Do you feel powerless? Do you feel ashamed? Do you feel angry?
Yes.
Do you feel all of those things? Well, if you go to a family gathering and maybe the abuser's not there, but your abuse happened within this family,
That's
I
correct.
guarantee you those feelings are going to come up.
Right.
You know,
because somebody in some way is going to trigger with either a word of some kind of food or a look.
yeah.
You know, and by the way, there could be 10 other things as well for somebody else, but I'm just giving you an example of the things that I've dealt with.
So most emotional triggers come from both people and situations.
That is correct.
You know the people who trigger you already.
Yes,
You know,
do.
it could be a parent, it could be a sibling.
Yes.
It could be a friend.
Extended family.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, and maybe, you know, and especially today, talk about politics, talk about whatever.
Oh, yeah.
These beliefs that these things are true. And before you get there, clear those feelings, clear the anger, the resentment.
Well, and also clear being a victim to those feelings.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
That's a huge thing.
Yes, yes, yes.
So here's the other thing. If you can anticipate the triggers, even in a basic way, you can remove the bad energy before you eat them. So if you know Uncle Harry always creates this anxiety in you, before you get there, clear that anxiety.
Well, and the other thing that you can do is that sometimes we go to family functions. We're just using that as an example today, but you go to family functions or some sort of a Christmas party or Hanukkah party, things like that. And when you get there, you know, I had to do this, I had to do that. Give yourself a break. Give yourself a big break and go, you know what, I can do this as I see these things coming at me. I can just take that hate of Uncle Harry. I can just pick it up and drop it right there in the processor that I have with me all the time. And by the way, it works. You know, I have just one small little story. And I don't know if I've talked about the exact of it before in the show, but I am clean and sober 34 years, and I'm very, very proud of it. And I remember going to my first family function after I decided to get sober, and I was terrified that I was going to be triggered, and I was terrified that what I wanted for my life wasn't going to happen. And this was before I had done the ecosystem approach. But one of the things that I realized is it didn't matter what the rest of them thought. It was what I thought about myself. And that made a difference. And then when I learned about the ecosystem approach, one of the other things that I learned was I could go back and clear the guilt and shame that of the actions I had done, but also clear the guilt and shame so I could let myself off the hook and not eat all the sugar and the carbs and that sort of thing because of my past.
Well, and that's why now we're able to have a much better diet than we've had before.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
So do key points.
Oh, Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
The most important thing you can do is to understand your emotions that come from your emotional story.
Correct.
Most emotional triggers come from both people and situations, and you already know what they are.
Yes.
If you can anticipate the triggers, even in a basic way, you can remove the bad energies before you eat them. And the ecosystem approach teaches you to identify the emotional triggers and remove them so they don't cause you problems.
Exactly. Okay. So, Jason, let's talk about or tell the audience out there how to do the clearing or removing negative energy.
And I know Jacob's going to put up a picture of the processor.
Correct.
It's very simple. Your posture doesn't matter. You can sit, stand, walk, lay down, and you don't have to be reverent.
Okay.
There's not that, but just in your mind's eye, when we say to eliminate, it's usually an emotion, veils and illusions, barriers. Gather those up in your body, blow them into that processor. They're processed, they go into the top, they're processed, and they come out neutral. Yes. So negative energy goes in the top and comes out neutral. which is the perfect thing to do for negative energy.
Well, and not only that, remember, there's so much negative energy, not only in us, but around us every
Yes.
day, that when you're doing this, you're not only helping you, which, by the way, is amazing, but you're also helping the environment around you. I love that. Then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to activate life force energy. Life force energy is the most powerful energy that we have access to, which I think is absolutely amazing. And we're going to, in the next segment, show you how to use that life force energy to start healing the emotional wounds that we've been carrying around for way too long. I'll say it that way. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to help you start to remove the emotional triggers and having a dysfunctional relationship to food so you can enjoy the holiday. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to help you start to remove the emotional triggers and having a dysfunctional relationship to food so you can enjoy the holidays. So, Jason, you ready to go?
Here we go.
Good.
I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the barriers so I can see that the root cause of all holiday overeating comes from using food as a drug.
Ooh, well done.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Take a breath, lift it up, and then throw it in that processor. Remember,
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and remember, when you put something in the processor, it takes away the negative and creates neutral, and that neutral helps not only you, but the entire environment.
I was just going to say, we need a snare drum for our show, so when we make these points, we go dun dun dun, anyways, for emphasis. I'll talk to Jacob about that,
Okay.
anyways. So and
Okay.
that could be dangerous because she'd take away any sort of noisemaker that I have. So you're next.
Excuse me. And we're going to shorten it up just a little bit, and to eliminate the barriers so I can see that when my emotional triggers are activated, food can quiet them, but only temporarily. Nice and easy. Take a breath. And we're getting rid of triggers, food triggers. Blow it out.
And to eliminate the intense feelings of worry, anxiety, and stress that I have that makes me eat sugar and refined carbs.
Yes.
And oh, by the way, first of all, take a breath.
Blow it out. And by the way,
the energy of this is what we see as intuitives, the energy of worry, anxiety, and stress. When you eat those things, they don't go away.
No,
they turn into fat a lot of times, and they're stored in your body to act upon you over and over and over again.
Exactly, especially when the energies of worry, anxiety, and stress are present in your presence.
Yes.
So think about the ridiculousness of that. So, and we're going to keep on going. And to eliminate any feelings of fear and hurt and shame I have that are triggered around the holidays. Nice and easy. Lift that up from the tips of your toes this time and blow them out. You don't need them.
And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that programming methods at best are not sustainable and often fail. Often fail, period.
Okay, there you go. And blow them out. And to eliminate the barriers so I can see programming or forcing yourself to lose weight does not improve self-esteem. By the way, yo-yo dieting is one of the most dangerous things anybody can do to themselves. Take a nice breath. Blow it out.
And to eliminate any feelings of fear and terror that I have that I've been triggered during the holidays.
Mm-hmm. Blow it out. And to eliminate any resentment that I have programming methods don't work because they are quicker and easier. Quicker and easier isn't always better. Take a breath.
When you do it 50 times, it's not quicker, it's not easier.
That is correct.
And to eliminate the barriers so I can see dealing with toxic people in my life trigger me to eat everything.
Yes, true. Or in some people, drink everything. Yes. And by the way, Anybody who's listening, please do not get behind the wheel of a car if you have been drinking or using drugs. Please don't do that. You don't need it, and neither did the people.
Clear first.
Yes, and people that are out there, they don't need it either. Clear first, exactly. And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that dealing with toxic people in my life triggers me to eat everything. Did I just do that one?
I just did that one.
Oh, well,
Yeah, it's a good one.
Take a
Yeah.
breath and blow it out.
And to eliminate any resistance I have to seeing that applying the ecosystem approach is better, but it takes longer.
Sure.
And that's what people, I have to do it right now. They get to the point where they're so overwhelmed with whatever the triggers or the
anxiety.
feelings,
Yes, that's right.
that they have to have something right now, right now.
Right. I'm sorry. I have just one small story about that. I had a client come to me and say, I need to lose, it was like a Tuesday. I need to lose 20 pounds by Friday. Pardon? 20 pounds by Friday. I'm sorry, you should have started 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my answer was, we can clear, but I can't really help you with that.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's a form of self-abuse.
Yes, it is. Self-sabotage. Yes.
So I don't know whose turn it is, but I'll go.
There you go.
The veils and illusion, and to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that dealing with a toxic family member can stimulate my craving for food, especially bad food.
Yes. Take a breath and blow it out. And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that dark energy can come from both people and situations to create cravings. Nice and easy. Take a breath and blow it out. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that understanding your emotional story is the key to bad emotions that create overeating and cravings and self-sabotage.
Yes.
Take a breath.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that highly programmed people are dull, lack creativity, and don't feel happy.
Take a breath, everyone. Jason, let's activate some life force. What do you say?
Yeah, let's
All
do
right,
that.
here we go. Follow me, everyone. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force, meaning we're going to call upon it. We're going to activate it and have it come right through the top of our head so I can use this life force, most positive energy in the world, to help me calm myself down and take really good care of myself and be happy about what I've done easily, smoothly, and swiftly. Nice and easy. Take a breath, pull in that life force energy, let it go in and start to heal the spots that are like raw wounds. Let it go all the way to the tips of your toes. Stop it there. We don't want this negative energy going into the ground. We're going to turn it around and we're going to take a breath and blow it out and put it into that processor. That's where that negative energy belongs. Jason?
And to activate life force so I can have hope, to have a positive relationship to food so it supports the best of me.
I love that. That's so good. Take a breath. And use that supporting the best of you to heal. And to activate life force so I can trust that I can remove the triggers that make me binge out. Starting right now, pull it in. Use that life force. Let it support you in a way that says, I can do this and I can be supported all the while.
And to activate life force so I can decide to focus on removing the dark energy that makes me, did you just do that? Oh,
nope.
No, that makes me binge, eat, and abuse myself.
Yes, take a breath. And last one. And to activate life force so I can heal myself, so I can be happy and laugh and love and be creative, be objective, and really enjoy my life every single day. And if there's something that I'm not enjoying, I can throw it in the processor and make my life better starting right now. Nice and easy. Pull it in. That life force energy and blow out any negative energy. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
Well, next week is my birthday week.
Okay.
So
happy birthday to
not yet.
you.
Okay.
I've
titled it my birthday topic.
Okay.
And so what will that be? Well, I'm going to talk about something that's really important to me.
Okay.
Usually when we choose topics, it's for, okay, where people are at or what's
Mhm,
relevant for
Right.
the time.
And the time of year and all
All
those
that
things.
stuff.
Yes.
Yes. But for this, I'm just going to say, okay, what have I always wanted to talk about that, and I think even though it's not based on you guys exactly, I think you'll find it really interesting because it's some things that I've been thinking about for a long time, and
Yes.
it's a really big deal to me. So
I love that.
yeah.
And by the way, he always chooses great topics. So join us next week and see what that topic is going to be.
And so if today you were listening
Okay.
and you were about to go for those M&Ms or that ho-ho over there or that Little Debbie's cake,
Okay.
and instead you said, okay, I can clear that.
Yeah.
Why, if you ask yourself, why is that, what is that emotion that makes me want to go eat that stuff?
Okay.
And maybe I can clear it first.
Mhm.
And then if you eat it, that's fine too.
Mhm.
But if you start saying, okay, what are the emotions that are triggering me?
Okay.
Maybe you get this hit that says, I want some more of the ecosystem approach. I
Yeah.
want some more of this approach to life,
Mhm.
as opposed to telling you should do this and you should do that and use
Okay.
self-discipline and self-control.
Right.
Oh, it sounds harsh and it's not really natural.
Yeah.
The animals in the forest don't use self-discipline, self-control. They just use instinct,
That's
and it
right.
happens naturally to them.
And by the way, when you use the ecosystem approach, your instinct becomes even more refined.
It's natural to you.
Yes.
To you personally. So how can you do this? Well, okay. How can you make the ecosystem approach a bigger part of your life?
Correct.
It's very simple. Listen to our show every week.
Mhm.
Go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org. Sign up for our free section.
Okay.
We have lots of content there.
Mhm.
There's a lot of free content that you can see. There's a picture of the processor. And most importantly, you'll get our weekly newsletter, which has all the clearings right there.
Yeah.
And the way to start to feel better, to get control of your emotions,
Mhm.
is every week to start clearing. Clear as much as you can.
Mhm.
The
And
more
as
you
often as you can.
often as you can, because it's cumulative.
Right.
The more you do, the
Mhm.
better off it is.
Yes.
And there's also a little bit of backstory there with the newsletter. It's a couple paragraphs that I write, and sometimes I make fun of Patricia, sometimes I don't.
What a
But
surprise.
but it's fun, and you'll enjoy it, and you'll get more information. And this is a new beginning for you.
Right.
The ecosystem approach is really kind of a radical way of seeing life.
Truly.
It's
Truly.
not like, it's not with this hard charging,
Mhm.
I'm gonna conquer the world by with self-discipline and self-control. Oh, that's boring. And I got to tell you, it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work for you, you don't feel good. So
Okay, Jason, tell us about Facebook.
our Facebook page is theecosystemapproach.org. Please go there and like us. I appreciate that.
Okay, we'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.